Hi everyone, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Rachel, this is Lemonade Stitching, and today is my March 2025 wrap-up. March was a big month. It started off a little rough. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to work on. I wasn't feeling inspired, nothing was calling to me. But thankfully that stitchy bug did not last long. I got a ton of stuff done. I got a lot of FFOs done this month actually, which was really exciting, and I'm really excited to share them with you today. I've got, like I said, FFOs, lots of new starts, some whips that you've seen before, and I've got this whole bag of goodies to go over today. So get comfy, get a coffee or a water or a tea or something to drink, because I want to say we're going to be here for a while, but I kind of talk fast, so I don't know how long we're actually going to be here, but I know there's a lot of projects to cover in whatever amount of time we're spending together today. So I'm going to go ahead, jump in with my FFOs. If you hear me meowing, Lucy's in here checking the place out, and we'll see if she wants to make an appearance. So first up is my FFO of Summer Symphony. This is an old Bucilla kit that I just finished in January. It was like 10 years old. I talked a lot about it in my January Flosstube update, but I have officially turned it into a project bag. It looks incredible. I'm so happy with it. I used the Elizabeth Ann tutorial as kind of like a guideline, but I didn't really measure anything. I just sewed it to whatever the exact dimensions were of the project. I've got some dark blue as this like top panel here, and then floral on the back, which I have another bag that's all this color, but I use this pretty vintage floral on the back, and then the inside is this same blue lining. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I don't know what project, Lucy's here. She says, oh, are you talking to me? I don't know what project I'm gonna keep in here, but I'm obsessed with this bag. And I actually sewed it really straight, so really proud of that, and just really happy with how this came out. I think it's a great use for these old kits that I don't necessarily hi honey, I don't necessarily want on my wall, but I don't want to like put them away and never see them again because I spent so much time working on it. So this is Summer Symphony turned into a project bag. And this is Lucy. If you missed our January update, she is our second little kitten. She is about 1.5 years now. She's a beautiful gray kitten. She loves cuddles. She purrs super hard. I don't know if that's just like a gray cat thing or what, but she purrs so hard. And when she's just like sitting by herself, like I'll walk over to her and she's already purring. She's having a wonderful time. So I think she's just gonna hang out with us. My next finish that I wanted to share is a start and finish and FFO all in one. This is a chart that has taken Instagram by storm over the last couple of weeks, and it's actually designed by one of my great friends, Elizabeth from FrizzyLizzie Stitches, and this is Crafty Goose, and I'll put up a picture of her original chart, but she released this, I think, mid-May, and so I instantly, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need it, and I need it on my stitching bag. I knew that it was just the perfect fit for my stitching bag. I have this End Tote. It is canvas, and then it's got like a bright spruce green, and I really want to do like patchwork style motifs all over it, like cross stitch motifs, and I knew this was the perfect one to add first. So I used waste canvas and I stitched Crafty Goose right on the front of my End Tote. I don't think these are her called for colors. I think they're very similar, but I didn't have all the called fors. But it came out so good. It was a labor of love for sure. This was my first time working on waste canvas, and to do it on such a thick material, and I had holes in my fingers for sure. I stabbed myself so many times, but I'm really happy with how it came out. I wanted to do the hearts too, but after these like 350 stitches, I had had enough. If you're interested in stitching on a bag, especially this thick of one, I actually found it a lot easier to stitch the letters than I did the goose itself, where it was like full coverage, you know, a lot of stitches in a row. I found it way easier to stitch the letters because you don't have to worry about lining up every single stitch perfectly as long as you have that one corner, you know. So that was one thing I learned, was keep it small and don't try to do like full coverage areas. But I'm really happy with how this came out. It looks absolutely stunning. Everyone has been posting their finishes of this project, and I love seeing how creative everybody got with it and chose different colors. A few people added little bow ties to the goose, and it's just been so fun to see everyone's take on Crafty Goose. She does have this pattern up on her Gumroad and her Etsy, so go check it out. It's only a few dollars, and support her because it is literally perfect. And speaking of friends releasing patterns, Cam from Cam the Stitcher also just came out with her first pattern. Actually, it's not Elizabeth's first pattern, but it is Cam's first pattern, and she just released that earlier this week. It's a stunning like sun and moon. I think she called it like fade into you or fading into you, and she has that posted on her Ko-Fi, and I've seen a lot of people starting to stitch that one too. It is more stitches than this one, so no huge finishes of it yet, but definitely also taking Instagram by storm, and I can't wait to see the finishes of that one in the coming weeks as well as people stitch it and kind of put their own creative spin on it. Okay, we're not done with FFOs yet. Like I said, it was kind of FFO galore. I was just feeling really inspired. I cleaned my basement slash craft room, so I was just like, what can I make now that the room is clean? How can I mess it up again? And one of the things I made was another project bag, this time out of Love Bug's Sampler by Sprouting Lupine. I actually think the purple might be showing up really well today, which is a feat in and of itself because purple never shows up on camera. But I stitched this back in 2023. I started in February of 2023, and it was part of hashtag #LoveBugSell, hosted by Marjorie Maid. And it was my first stitch along, and I was so excited to be involved. I did a full purple conversion from the called for pink DMCs, and I stitched it on the called for 32 count Sprite Lugana. And I finished it into this project bag, and it's just like a zipper at the top for this one, because of the shape of the pattern I felt like that would be best. And then it's got this cute like orange pink dark floral fabric I got at Joann's on sale. And then I had some leftover purple pom-pom trim that I added to the bottom. I really wanted to put the trim all the way across, but I was worried I didn't have enough. I think I was just a couple inches short of like a comfort zone of like I definitely have enough. And so I didn't want to start doing it down the sides and then run out and have to, you know, seam wrap the whole thing, whatever. So I just stuck with on the bottom because I knew I had plenty for that, and I think it matches perfectly. And then I had this purple flower button that I just tied on with some thread. Eventually I need to put that on better, but it's just a little zipper pull. And I'm obsessed with this. For the inside, I did just solid purple, and I love how this came out. Right now it is holding my material and floss for Delft Beetles. Delft Blooms by Sprouting Lupine is currently on my whip list, and I'm going to talk about that a little later in the video. So this is just holding the material for like the second installment of that series, both of which I'm going to turn into similar project bags or bag. I originally was going to do them as one bag together, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, this is my FFO of Love Bug Sampler, and I'm obsessed with it. I think it came out so good, and that's all I have for now on this one. My last three FFOs kind of go together. They are in a little set, and if you've watched my channel before, you may have seen that I have been working on the Crocette Gogo monthly series for some time now, and I have a few that were finished stitching but not FFO'd yet. And so after doing my two project bags, I was like, what else is in this project roll that I can finish? And I ended up pulling out March, November, and December from the Crocette Gogo series, and I FFO'd these into flat finishes. I have March with purple backing. Love that one. I have November with orange, and December with red. And these are just finished on matte board, and then they don't have magnets on the back yet because I had to order more, but hopefully by the end of today they will have magnets on the back. These were originally done to hang up on my desk at work and like switch out for the months, but since starting the series I have switched desks, and now I just kind of keep them all up all the time. So I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing with these, or if I'm gonna kind of pivot or what, but I'm excited to have 3 more FFO'd. I think I just have 2 more left to stitch. Of course the sirens will be going off right now. I just have 2 more left to stitch, and then I will be completely done with the series, and I can check off the bucket list of stitching a 12-part series. So these are March, November, and December. And I should say as well, all of these, the whole series is stitched on 32 count Beautiful Beige Linen, 2 strands of DMC, and I did some of the called for colors, some like mindful conversions, trying to be as close as possible, and just pull from stash. So not exact, but pretty close and true to the original. So it's finally time to get into these new starts that I was talking about. Like I said, I had several. I had this one in particular planned for the month, but the other 2, they were just kind of spur of the moment decisions. So my first start of the month was Flowers of Rosehall by Rosewood Manor. So I got this on Facebook D-Stash last year with the Valdani silks, and I've been itching to start it, and I finally pulled the trigger and started it this month. And I'm stitching this on, let's see, I think it's a 40 count Winter Moon with the called for Valdani silks, and I started this on March 20th, and I've gotten 806 stitches so far. So I just started in the top left corner, and I got this big motif done, and we're just working our way slowly but surely. I only picked this up twice, I think, and then I had lots of other things to work on. So this is all the progress for now. I don't have any big plans for this one. I don't have any finishing plans, any goals of when I want it to be done. This is just one that I'm stitching based on vibes. And I'll show you the silks. They're absolutely stunning. I do have them on floss drops. Not sure if that's like a correct thing to do with silks or what, but the spools were stressing me out. So I just got them on some Atom Heart. These are actually like the blended thread chips, but they worked really well for the silk because there was so much. So I like split each skein in half and put it on the 2 holes. So these are the colors. I am loving it. I was really intimidated to start this project at first. I think that's part of the reason I waited so long, was because like it has these fancy silks and I didn't want to mess it up, and I didn't want to, you know, do it on the wrong fabric or make a mistake or whatever. But I'm happy I started it now. I'm doing it with 1 strand of the silk. So Valdani is a stranded silk, so I'm pulling it apart and doing just 1 strand on the 40 count. My next new start that I had planned for the year but no specific dates in mind was Cherished Dreams by Leisure Arts. This is from my grandma's stash, and I knew I wanted to start it this year, and I decided it was my Nash Stash start, which was a virtual event hosted by Lindy Stitches this past weekend. And so I had it pretty much kitted up and ready to go. I was able to pull almost all the threads from stash, and when I went through this week to like double check that I was ready to start, there were only 2 threads that I was missing, and I ended up going to my local creative reuse store, and I didn't have like high hopes that I would find the colors because, you know, it's all donation based. It's kind of a disaster in there. Like there's just stuff everywhere. They do a really good job of keeping it organized, but still you can only keep it so organized, you know what I mean? And so I was going through a bucket of DMC, and I actually was able to find the exact 2 colors that I needed to complete my kit for the project. I would have started it anyway, even if I didn't have all the colors, because there's like 45 colors in here, so I wasn't that worried. I was like, I'm sure I could just start somewhere else, you know, in the piece, or skip a color and come back to it. But I was able to get them all kitted up. So I've got them on these like plastic floss cards, and I've used these for a couple projects now. I think these were per the recommendation of Megan or Katie. Katie Red Stitchery or Megan the Seattle Stitcher. They were like, these are a must buy for projects with a lot of floss, and I do enjoy them, but my only note is that I found that when I write on them with Sharpie, all of the ink like rubs off as I'm using it. So this time around I actually just put Scotch tape on here and wrote on it with pen. I don't know if the camera's gonna focus, but I just put Scotch tape down the middle and wrote on it with a regular pen so that it wouldn't like rub off as I was stitching, because I have no idea how long this project's gonna take. And then I just have my threads braided together loosely to keep them somewhat manageable. But anyway, back to my progress so far. I decided to stitch this on 32 count Beautiful Beige. I had a good chunk left over from my monthly series by Crocette Gogo, and I did a center start, and this is my progress. It's still in the hoop because I just started it 2 days ago, and this is what I got done on here. But it's looking good. I got 482 stitches done, so I started this Friday night of Nash Stash. I was stitching kind of slow on it. I thought I would be a lot more excited to work on it, but after a little while I was just kind of like, okay, I'm not really feeling inspired anymore. I want to do something else. But I am glad I got it started, and I'm excited to see what comes next. There is a second part that goes with this piece that I do have in stash already. So this piece of fabric is going to be big enough to stitch both of them and finish them together, which is really exciting. And yeah, that's Cherished Dreams. A little start, but better than nothing. And I'm excited to have it in the rotation, you know. This is another one that I don't have any like goals or plans for. I was just excited to get it started. My last new start is My Flowers by Boomerang Stitches, also known as Amity from the Hathaway Stitchers. I have been obsessed with this chart ever since she released it, and I have just been waiting to find the perfect fabric, the perfect floss, to kind of make it my own and customize it. So it's just been sitting in my Google Drive waiting to be stitched, and I'm constantly like, ooh, maybe I'll use that. Ooh, maybe I'll use that. But this weekend I was just feeling inspired from Nash Stash and seeing everybody and talking to everybody, organizing the craft room and, you know, touching all my threads and seeing what I had in stash. And I decided to use my Dinky dyes that I had gotten around Christmas time. I got a couple of the like mystery packs of misdyed threads, and I decided those would be perfect to do a little color conversion on this. And I went through my scrap fabric, and I found literally the perfect size piece. I only have 1 inch border on the top and the bottom, but I decided it's fine. It is fine, it'll be fine. I think I might practice my hem stitch on this piece and learn how to do that. But anyway, this is what the chart looks like, My Flowers, if you're not familiar with it. And this is my start. I hope the colors all show up on camera. But I'm stitching it on 36 count Dunes by Fiber on a Whim with 7 different Dinky Dyes flosses. If you're interested in the exact colors, I am happy to let you know. At some point I'll get around to making a graphic to put on Instagram. But the only caveat is that they're from the misdyed bundles, so I can't guarantee that they're actually the correct colors. So like if you buy the color that it's supposed to be, it could look a little different, could look totally different, you never know. So that is the only caveat with the colors that I chose for this. But I am really happy with how it came out, and I'm really happy that I was able to get all 7 colors in and kind of see how they work together. In person, they look really great, and this fabric is very much out of my comfort zone, but I love it. Like, oddly enough, I just think it looks so cool with the fabric, or with the colors. Let me hold up my little thing. I've got them all on this little like vintage DMC horse. So what am I trying to do here? I just want to hold them all up so you can see like more of the colors. see how this goes. There you go. I think you can see them all. But I'm just obsessed. I'm already a third of the way through the chart. I worked on this all afternoon yesterday, and I got a whopping 1,500 stitches in. So I think that is the most stitches I've ever done in one day. But it honestly went pretty quick. I don't think I started stitching until like 1 p.m. and I stayed up stitching till probably 11 with a couple breaks in between. And I stitched part of this in hand, and then I put it in a hoop for part of it as well, just depending on the section that I was in. And it went really quick, a lot quicker than I was expecting it to go. So I'm really excited. Hopefully this will be a finish within the next couple of months. If not next month. It's not a big chart. It only has like 4,000 something stitches. My count says 4485, but I think it actually has less than that. My markup duplicated some of the stitches by accident. It like didn't import right the overlapping columns. But anyway, less than 4,500 stitches. So very excited to get this done next month or the month after. So April or May, and do something fun and creative with the finish, since framing it will be a little difficult. I don't think it'll be impossible, but I'll give you a close-up of the margin there. Not the best, but not the worst we've ever had. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up, I've got 2 active whips to show you. Both of these have been on the channel before. You've seen them, but I did make more progress. First is Merry Christmas by Hobby House Press. Love this chart. I got it when I visited Hobby House in December, and I pulled this out I think like 3 times at the beginning of the month, and I got about 1,200 stitches done, so pretty good progress. I am stitching this on 40 count overcast by Cedar River, and I'm stitching it 1/2 with leather bound by Cottage Garden Threads. Love this color, love Cottage Garden Threads, love Cedar River linen. This is my first time using them, but it will not be my last. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, where is the other half of this at quarter? Because I thought it was in this bag. Uh-oh. Anyway, not important right now, but here is my progress. So I got the Merry Christmas done. I started on a big snowflake, and I think I did a little of this center border here as well. So I don't have markup up in front of me, but I'm pretty sure this will be the full height of the piece. Merry Christmas is the very top, and then the bottom of this snowflake is the bottom, I think. Yeah. So that is the full height. We've got about halfway across, and I just love this project, and it looks so good. I don't know exactly how I'll finish it, but it'll definitely be a staple Christmas decoration in my house. My fiance helped me pick out the color and the fabric, so I already know he's on board, and oops, it's just such a good combo. So again, this is Overcast by Cedar River and Leatherbound by Cottage Garden Threads. If you're looking for a great neutral and like dark red combination, would absolutely recommend. Also, if you know where I put the other half of this fat quarter, let me know, because I thought it was still connected to the project. I was like making plans for it last night when I was going through my stash, so that is slightly concerning, but like, it's fine, yeah. My last whip that you have seen before and will see again, hopefully every single month this year, is Baltic Birdies by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is the 2025 stitch along, and I am trying to stitch 2,300 stitches a month. I am on track, so I've done 6,980 so far. That was like my March goal, and I'm hoping to have this finished by the end of the year. And this is my progress. So I've got the full width of the project, and I'm working my way down. I do some on the left, go over, do some on the right. I've got this whole like cornucopia done on the left side, and now I'm starting to do a cornucopia on the right side. And then I'm gonna do the birds. There is a bird right here. So I don't know if I'll have the patience to do the whole cornucopia on this side before I do the bird, but we'll just see how it goes. Really excited, really proud that I was able to keep up with this month. I feel like I worked on it a lot more this month than I did in February, because I got so much stitching in February, and I did like a month and a half's worth of stitching on here, probably like 3,000-ish stitches, and it felt like nothing. Like felt like I had a lot of time to work on other projects, but for some reason working on this again this month in March felt like it was taking away all of my time, and I was like, how do I have time to work on anything else? Obviously I did, I found time, but I don't know, it's just weird that it felt so different. But this is 40 count flax linen, I forgot to say that, and I'm using General Arts Witching Hour 1/2 because it's 40 count, and I'm almost done with my second full skein of floss. Sometimes I'm really good at saving the floss and like being mindful. Other times I'm like, nah, I'll start a new strand. So almost 2 skeins down, and only what, 20,000 stitches to go. This is normally my like lunch break project, so I usually work on it at work because I can easily get my like 80 stitches in for the day, if not more. My next project to talk about is actually not my project. If you watch Elizabeth FrizzyLizzie Stitches, Cam from Cam the Stitcher, or Bridget the Museum Stitcher, you may have heard us talk about how we're doing a whip exchange over the next couple of months. Basically, how this all came about was Bridget is stitching the bookcase. I don't remember who designed it, but it's a huge chart. She's doing an amazing color conversion, but she's like 5,000 stitches in and has decided she doesn't like doing it 2/2. And it's such a big chart that she's like, I can't do another, like, I don't even know, probably 30,000 stitches if I don't like it. So Elizabeth and myself and Cameron all were like, girl, we'll help you, we'll get it there. So we offered to have her pass it around, and we each stitch like 2,000 stitches and like restart it for her so that she doesn't have to restitch what she's already done, and then can just like pick up where she left off. But I, for one, was more than happy to do it. Didn't need anyone to work on anything of mine, but Bridget felt bad, so it turned from us helping her just restart her project into a whole little circular round robin whip exchange type situation. So how we're doing it is Bridget is sending her project to Elizabeth to work on. Elizabeth gave me a project to work on. I sent Delft Blooms to Cam to work on, and then Cam sent something to Bridget. I don't remember what Cam sent, but eventually I will know, because we're gonna keep following that pattern until we all get our projects back, and we'll have like 6,000 stitches done for us by all of our friends, and they're all projects that we were just kind of like stuck on, not loving working on, and just needed help making some progress, getting over a hump, whatever it was. So like I said, I sent Delft Blooms because I don't know, like I was so excited to start it, but I just have such a horrible time working on it for some reason. Like it just hasn't been inspiring to me, and it was probably the whip that I like to work on the least, so I was like, that'll be a good one for the exchange. And then everyone else, you know, obviously picked out their project. So this month I have been working on Elizabeth's whip exchange piece, and she is doing Castle Homecoming by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So I'll put up a picture of what the chart looks like. This was a mystery stitch along, I don't even know what year. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but at some point it was a mystery stitch along. Elizabeth started it. This is very much her vibe, and she just never really kept up with it, was having trouble getting progress in, and so she passed me the whip with like 1,000 something stitches in it. I'll put up a picture of where she was when I picked it up and started working on it for her, but it actually worked out so perfectly because this chart is not in my comfort zone at all. I would never choose it for myself to work on. It's adorable, do not get me wrong, but it just isn't something that I would pick up. And I started working on this like right as I was still in that cross stitch slump at the beginning of March, and I was just having a horrible time trying to like find something I wanted to work on. And working on this project brought me so much happiness. It cured the stitching slump. All I wanted to do day and night was stitch on this. I was having the best time, and it was absolutely wonderful. So I will show you all the progress I made on Castle Homecoming this past month. And here we are. So this is, I think, 40 count linen. So this is the size of the project, but I'll hold it closer to where I'm stitching. So it's 40 count Valor by Picture This Plus. And we're stitching 1/2 with all the called for colors. And I focused my efforts on the little bridge and sea monster and little frog prints, and I just had the best time. So I've put in, how many stitches? I have put in 2,300 stitches, so I've hit my kind of goal, and I need to send this over to Cam to work on. But I got mine a little earlier than Elizabeth and Cam did, so I feel bad sending it to her before she has a chance to work on my project. So I might hold on to it for a few more days. I don't know if I'll put any more stitches in because I feel like I was at a good like pause point in the project. But I love it. It cured my cross stitch slump this month, and it was just so happy and fun and colorful. This is her floss ring. Let's see. There's just so many fun, colorful colors on here. They're fun and they're bright, and I love it. I think my favorite part of the chart is the dragon that's on the left corner. I really wanted to stitch that, but I wasn't gonna like count all the way over there, and I was like, I'll leave that for somebody else. I'll work on the little sea monster and it'll be a great time. And I really just wanted to make sure I like finished whatever area that I was in. So I'm getting ready to pass this to Cam. I need to get a mailer and send it over to her so that she can put 2,000-ish stitches in, and I just can't wait. I'm so excited. Oh, it's so fun. I don't know, for some reason I really like the idea of working on other people's stuff and we're all kind of working on it together, and it's not a round robin where we're all stitching the same thing, but we all are kind of like, you know, helping each other out. So I don't know, I really like it. I'm having fun with it. It doesn't bother me in the slightest that I'm like spending time stitching on something that isn't mine. I don't know if that would bother other people, but I'm having the best time, and we literally just started. So all right, I have officially reached the end of all of the projects I touched in March. I told you it was a lot more than usual, a lot more than I thought I would work on. But I'm so happy with every single one. I love all the FFOs that I was able to do, and all of the stitching progress I was able to make, and the new starts. I loved participating in Nash Stash. If you were in any of my rooms this weekend, loved hanging out with you, loved chatting with you. I feel like I had a really good group of people that I was hanging out with for most of the weekend, and it was just a great time. It really filled my cup. I don't have any retreats this year until StitchCon, so I've still got a few months to go, and I just had the best time. I was just so happy. Overall, I've gotten 9,221 stitches in this month based on my Notion tracking, and I touched 12 projects. So that is a lot. That is a lot for me. I feel like I usually like to stick to like 4 or 5, if that, but I kept picking things up, and I just kept getting so excited. And that does count all the FFOs. I count that as like touching the project. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions about colors or fabric or any of that, please leave a comment, DM me on Instagram, anywhere. I'm really trying to up my Instagram game and post better photos and make like graphics for the colors that I choose. So check out my Instagram if you want, if you're interested. I'm trying to learn how to take better photos and like kind of put more effort into it. Because I hate taking photos of my stitching and then it doesn't actually look accurate. So that's one of my goals this year, is to get better photos, which so far is going well, but now I'm out of photos to post, so I have to try again. So anyway, not that any of that matters. I hope you all have a wonderful April. I will see you at the end of April, first weekend of May for another recap of what I got up to, and happy stitching. Thanks for watching, you guys.